Okay, so anyway, my sister's story will have to be another day. It's still very raw and emotional for me, but we'll get there. Anyways, my sister was pressing my hips together, and it was amazing, and it was just what I needed. And anyway, after a few pushing contractions, I felt like I just wanted a break in between, and my body was giving me one, thank goodness. And during one, I just started pushing with everything I had. I was draped around Rusty, kind of in a proposal position, one knee up, one knee down, and kind of just hanging on him. I keep losing my place while I'm reading this. One leg up to let gravity help me push. It did the job. It didn't feel so great. I remember one push, I was like, that kind of hurt. So Kelly checked me again, and a lip of cervix had come back. So she told me that, she said either you can stop pushing and wait again, or I can hold this lip back while you push. And I was like, there's no way I'm waiting. I'm getting this baby out. If this is for real, we're doing it, and we're doing it right now. So she held the lip back, and it didn't feel too awesome, but it wasn't the worst thing either. So regardless, it worked. A few more contractions later, with her head at a +3 station, my water broke with force. I totally forgot that my water hadn't even broke by this point. So when it broke, it surprised me. The pressure of her head and all the contractions, my water broke. It like exploded. I was in the water, and we heard it, and just, you could hear it underwater. Everything, it popped like a balloon. It was crazy. Quickly after that, she came down, and to feel her head about to emerge from my body was the coolest feeling in the world. I could feel, and this might sound gross to some people, but I could feel the bulge underneath. Her head it wasn't as visible as what I could feel. I could feel more than I could actually, well, I couldn't see anything, but you can imagine what I'm trying to explain here. The next push, and her head was out. I didn't have any tears at that point, because I had known from doing all the research before, getting ready for her birth, that the more uncoached pushing that you did, the less likely you were to tear, and the more that you took your time and gave your perineum a chance to stretch and really do what it's supposed to do, then you wouldn't tear or even need an episiotomy. Anyway, so at that point, I didn't have any tears. But next I had to push her shoulders out, and I was so done pushing by this point. I didn't even care what happened down there. I knew Kelly could fix it. So with the next contraction, I gave it everything I had, and Rusty caught her, and we held her together just so. It was amazing. I kid with him that he stole her from me, because he caught her, but then, like, instead of handing her to me, he held her in his own arms. And I didn't even realize it at first, but I was like, hello, excuse me, give me my baby, please. And so we just held her together for a little bit, and it was amazing. And then he held her, he passed her off to me and got out and changed his clothes and everything. And Paisley was born into her daddy's hands at 4:16 in the morning, Wednesday, May 27th, 2009. I remember some point, while pushing, I was threatened to have to get out of the water and get on the birthing stool. But I was determined not to leave that water. I was in that water, and I wasn't moving. My midwife couldn't make me get out anything. So as soon as they brought this birthing stool in, the birthing chair, it's a really big purple, just birthing stool. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting out of this water. I can't move. I'm having contractions every, minute. And so I just pushed with everything I could even muster up, and it worked. And so she was out, and it was everything I dreamed my homebirth would be and more. Yes, it hurt pushing. It wasn't really my favorite, but everything else was just fine. So amazed at how I didn't do anything. I didn't need to be induced because it was overdue. I didn't need any Pitocin. I didn't need somebody counting to 10 in my ear so I could push. I didn't need any of that. I just listened to my body. It did what it was supposed to do. It did everything the way God designed. I know that's not the way it happens for everybody, but I do believe that given the chance that it's more likely than if you were to just go into it straight from the get-go with the hospital. You have less a chance of things going the way that our bodies were meant to be handled. That's just my own opinion. I don't, force my opinions on anybody, but as always, if anybody has any questions about what I believe, I'd be more than happy to answer. Let's see, what else do I talk about? Oh, Carson was asleep the whole time. I remember leading up to it, I was so nervous about, is it going to happen during the day? Is it going to happen at night? Is he going to be awake? Is he going to be, he was 2.5 years old at the time, so just busy, busy as can be. But everything worked out perfect. He was in bed. He slept the entire time. He didn't wake up till 6 that morning when the smoke alarm went off, because after you give birth, you're given an herbal bath. You get to take an herbal bath with your baby, and it helps their cord stump heal. Paisley's fell off in 5 days. I was shocked because Carson's took almost 3 weeks to come off, and it also helps your perineum and your everything kind of heal up with the stuff that's in the herbal bath. I have no idea what's in there. I could look at the ingredients, but I don't have them with me. Anyway, so they were warming it up to put it in the hot water in the bathtub, and our smoke alarm went off, and so he wakes up and comes in there, and the look on his face, he was just shocked. I mean, he was like, he knew I was pregnant, and he knew there was a baby in there, and he knew Paisley was in there, and everything like that, but I just don't think anything can compare a 2.5-year-old for why is mommy holding this baby. And I nursed Carson until he was 2, and so I was worried about, which if you do the math, I was 21 weeks pregnant or something by the time he weaned. But I was nervous that once he saw me nursing the baby, what he would think. Would he be jealous? Would it bring up old memories for him? And it's kind of sad, but he didn't remember a dang thing. He remembered nothing. He actually, the first time I nursed her, he was like, oh my gosh, Paisley's biting your num-nums. So, quickly he understood that she wasn't biting me. That's how she ate. And, I tried to explain to him that he also ate that way too, and for a very long time. But, anyway, overall, the birth was amazing. I did end up tearing him because I got a little antsy at the end, and I had some stitches, so quite a few, but nothing compared to that episiotomy where they cut muscle. Actually, it was only, they called them skid marks, because it was just the skin, really. It wasn't, there was no muscle, no deep tissue, anything like that. So my midwife did an amazing job fixing me up, and I got plenty of lidocaine with that, so you are numb even if you have your baby at home when they need to stitch you up. So I know a few people wonder about that, but anyway, that's my birth story. My sister was my amazing cheerleader, and I'll have to tell you my version of her birth story in another video, and also my son's. It was very different, but I love my kids so much. There's, people always worry when you go from one kid to 2, how can you ever love one the same, or am I taking something away from the other? And it doesn't happen like that. Yes, you have all those feelings, but once your baby gets here, it's just, you don't ever grow out of room in your heart. Your heart just doubles as big as you need to. So anyways, that's my birth story with Paisley, and if there's any specific questions, there's probably little details that I didn't get to in here, but if there's any specific questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.